Welcome back to the Built for Profit podcast, guys. I'm joined here with Tal. Super excited to dive into his property management company. He's calling in from Atlanta, not too far away from us over in the Marietta area. And so, yeah, super fired up to kind of dive into this conversation. So, number one, Tal, thanks so much for being here. And then number two, I would love for you just to kick us off by just saying, who is Tal and how did you get into the property management space?
Well, I mean, how did I get into space? I've had multiple careers over the years. Started working in the commodities exchange in Chicago. I was
Okay.
a trader there, evolved into data processing, wrote software as it turned out to run the trading
Oh, my
floor
goodness.
of the commodity exchange, wrote software for Chicago Title and Trust and learned the title industry
Wow.
and then ended up opening our own consulting company and worked with a company that we were doing software for accessing credit bureau data and
Oh, perfect.
deciding whether or not to issue credit cards and at what limit for Fortune 100 companies. And then that company had a change, and I was out looking for a real job and decided I would do real estate part time, and that was
Okay.
1991.
Okay.
It's been a it's been an evolution.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, are you originally from Chicago?
My wife and I are from Chicago. We moved to the Atlanta area in '83, and like I said, in '91, it was a subsidiary of Cox Communications.
Okay.
Brought us here. They hired me to run their systems people. So that's what got us here. 9 months later, they were bought out by a competitor who wanted me to move to Colorado, and I said no. I just got here. So
Yeah, it makes
it's
sense. Okay, Tal, so I'm curious, obviously, getting to Atlanta, 1991 comes around. How did you even get interested in real estate, and what was your first transaction or, like, intro into the real estate world?
Well, that's interesting. My sister in Chicago has been a realtor. Well, if I'm going on 34 years, she's got to be going on 37, 38, 39 years.
Okay.
And I just kind of thought, like I said, while I was looking for another IT position, I thought I would do this part time
Yeah.
and quickly realized you can't do it part time and really struggled the first year. I think by the end of the year, it was a situation where I was ready to just throw in the towel on it. And the broker I had at the time said, look, I've worked with hundreds of people. You are doing everything right. I was carrying 20 plus listings for sale. And what I didn't know at the time was the market had turned just before I got into it. We were on the
Okay.
downslope, due to inexperience. I wasn't pricing as competitively as I needed to.
Yeah.
But long story short is literally January 1st of the second year, sales started coming in and I was knocking it out of the park. I mean, my best year, I was selling over a home a week.
Wow. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
So it was pretty intense and became top ranked in the county board of realtors and all that stuff. And we had our own rentals, just a couple. And I would sell a home to an investor and the investor would say, well, you've got your own rentals. Will you manage mine?
Okay.
And I would say, no, you can do it yourself. Quite honestly, I mean, I didn't know what I didn't know. And this is
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
everything in life. We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
And in my mindset, I'm thinking, okay, I can sell a home and make $6,000, $7,000 or whatever it was, or I could manage a property and get $150, $200 a month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, thank you. I don't have the
Yeah.
time for it. Well, uh, when the recession hit, I think it was about 2008 or nine, we had a number of our clients. And when I say we, my wife and I have worked together since the day we met in 81.
Wow.
We're both in IT together. We're both in real estate together. So when the recession started to hit, we had a number of past customers and clients that wanted to sell the properties. And unfortunately, the numbers were ugly. They were upside
Yeah.
down. They would have to bring money to the closing table or lose equity. And my wife and I looked at each other and said, look, I know this isn't what we wanted to do, but let's do right by them and we'll manage it for 3 to 5 years and then we can sell it for them and that'll be better for them. Well, the next thing we knew, we had 10 properties. The next thing we had
Yeah.
15 properties. Next thing we had 20. And we were at a local real estate trade show put on by the Board of Realtors and the MLS. And there, as we're walking down the aisles of the booths, my wife points out a sign for something that says property management. And we went over to talk to them, and it was an organization called NARPM,
Yeah.
the National Association of Residential Property Managers.
Yep.
And thank God she found them because, look, I'd had my own rentals. We thought we knew what we were doing. And we did better than most. I mean, we're pretty sharp at what we do.
Yep.
But getting involved in that organization and networking and going to chapter meetings and going to national and regional conferences, I mean, leaps and bounds, our business has grown thanks to the connections in NARPM.
Yeah.
And the Atlanta chapter is the largest one in the country.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, you're from Birmingham. There was a company there for many years, AHI, which sold out to Pure. And the owner, Brian Jenkins, he was also a member of the Atlanta chapter because there isn't one in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people that went and did a presentation there to try to
Oh,
open up a chapter in Birmingham. But at any rate, I became very, very involved in the chapter to the point where 2024, I was the chapter president. So,
wow. Okay. Wow. So that's
yeah.
that's amazing. Well, interesting you bring that up. I was curious if we probably passed each other in the hallways. We were up in Colorado Springs back in March of last year
Oh, for sure.
for the national conference. Yeah.
Yeah, the broker owner conference,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, we try to go to those. I may start tapering down more. About 4+ years ago, 5 years ago, our son joined us in the business. He's now the co-owner of the business.
Okay.
He'll take it over. You know, Whenever you go to a conference, there's three possible reasons to attend. One is for the educational sessions, the
Yep.
content. Two is for networking, and three is for the trade show and meeting vendors and learning about products.
Yeah.
Well, I've done this enough years that for the most part, I don't really care about the sessions anymore. But I go to network and meet
Yeah.
vendors and learn products. And I was fortunate in our annual national conference in Orlando in October. I was invited to be a speaker for that
Wow.
conference. It's you never stop growing and learning. That's the
Yeah.
bottom line.
That's so good, Tal. The thing that I've at least learned over the past few years in the NARPM world, it's just filled with just really, really incredible people. I think the property management space in itself is just a lot of great, genuine people that are just trying to serve people. And so it's been a lot of fun to just get to know people in that world and that organization as well.
It goes a step further, in the as a real estate agent, as a realtor, and we still sell. We don't pursue
Yeah.
sales. When I say we don't pursue them, after 30+ years, we have enough past and repeat customers, plus the people whose properties we manage that eventually want to sell. So we don't put any focus into marketing to grow more sales business.
Okay.
We put our focus in to grow our management business.
Yeah.
What you say is so, so true because when you're on the sales side, nobody wants to share data. It's like
Yeah.
my secret sauce. You're going to steal my customers, all that
Yeah.
kind of attitude. Yes, you can go to conferences and hear speakers, but the sharing is almost non existent.
Yeah.
Now flip it over to NARPM, to property management. And one of the leaders in our space made a comment maybe 10 years ago. He says, our competition isn't each other. It's the 60% of people, 65% of people that choose to self-manage.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
let's get better for all of us.
That's
And
good.
we exchange ideas and tools and techniques. It's like it's like hanging out with your college buddies.
Yeah. No, that's so good, Tal. I think it's a beautiful thing in life to be part of an organization in business with people that have an abundance mindset, like you're saying. Like, there's enough to go around. Let's all win together. I think that is such a beautiful thing. Okay, so I'm curious. Obviously, you kind of by default got into the property management space because of the downturn, 2008, 2009. So what does your life look like now? I mean, obviously you're focused on growing the management side. How many doors do you manage? Are you a little bit commercial and residential, or kind of what's the makeup of your business right now?
Well, I'll take the last part first. I'm a big believer. I don't do what I don't know. So I don't sell land. I don't do commercial real estate. I don't manage multifamily.
Yeah.
We do single family management, single family homes, condos, townhomes, a couple of duplexes. I think we've got one quadplex, but
Okay.
that's our bread and butter. Now,
Yeah, that's great.
we're a little north of 200 properties that we manage. And I will tell you, we have a very different approach. And this is something I teach people at when I was just speaking. We have a very different approach. I'm all about having quality doors and having good revenue per door that you manage by implementing more services and tools that benefit the owners, the tenants, things of that nature. Where our revenue per door is what we focus on
Yeah.
rather than a lot of guys they have high door counts. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
guys that, for example, in our space, I shouldn't say a lot. There's some. I do the secret shopping. I know my competition. Uh, there's some guys in our space that their business model is have a flat fee no matter what you're collecting in rent,
Yep.
and they'll make their money by growing more doors. My business model is not that. Our business model is to provide top drawer service. I mean, I think we have a 4.7 Google rating,
Wow.
and that's owners and tenants.
Yeah.
But yes, we're in a business to make a profit. We charge a little below average management fee. In our case, it's 8%. A
Okay.
lot of the guys are at, 7 to 10% is somewhat the range.
Yep.
But we put lots of tools in place that, yes, we make a profit on them, but they benefit the parties that we're serving.
Yeah.
As an example, your property insurance. You own a home and you use State Farm, Allstate, whomever, what's known as a captive carrier to get the insurance. And you
Yep.
do the same thing on your rental property. But years ago for my own rentals, I didn't think the quality of those policies was as good as I wanted them to be. So we went out and shopped and we set up a master landlord policy that we
Yep.
offer our owners to opt in on. Costs them about the same, give or take within $100 most of the time. It's the same cost as they would get from the captive carriers.
Yeah.
But when you have a rental property, hopefully you've got a good insurance agent, but that insurance agent may or may not inform you. By the way, there's an option for mold fungus coverage. By the way, there's an option for sewage water backup coverage. Maybe they do or do not have dog bite coverage.
Oh, yeah.
We set up a master policy that has all of those things in it. And if you think about it, I explain this to potentially new owners. Think about if you ever worked for an employer that offered health insurance, the employer went out, shopped, they picked a policy, they offered you the option to join in or not join.
Yeah.
And we offer our owners the option to join in, and the vast majority of them do. It's $1 million of liability protection.
Yeah.
It's just a better policy. But
Yeah.
here's the thing that they just have to trust me on because you wouldn't know up front. I handle all the insurance claims, whether it's our master policy or whether it's a captive carrier. I handle dozens of claims that come in for the properties we manage over the years. Almost no exception. Every time it's a captive carrier, whatever the damages are, we send out the contractor, they give us the estimate, we submit it to the carrier, and the carrier pushes back and wants to pay less or finds some loophole not to pay it.
Exactly.
And we eventually, because we know the system, we eventually get them to pay almost all the time what we originally said. But it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
You go to our master policy, all those other ones are like retail policies. Now we're like a commercial policy.
Yeah.
And I just had two claims the other day that the guy said to me after we submitted all the data and the mitigation report and all this stuff. And he says, I'm going to go talk to my boss. I can probably do a desktop approval on this. We don't need to waste money to send anybody out. The dollars are low because our claim is $10,000 and they're used to having to do insurance claims on an office building or something
Yeah.
for hundreds of thousands. So it's beautiful. We just don't have those kinds of battles.
Yeah.
So back to your original question. So by offering this to our owners, and we're not insurance agents. We can't, when you buy a policy from somebody, built into the price is the commission that insurance agent's going to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not insurance agents. We can't get paid a commission. We have an insurance broker that issues the policies. We
Yep.
just charge an administrative fee to set it up and manage the policy for them.
Love it.
But we do make money on that. So we
Yeah.
have lots and lots of those different revenue buckets that we have built because I go to these conferences, I hear about good ideas,
Yeah.
and I implement them.
Yeah. So good.
Another good example, years ago, we used to You got a pet, you want to move into a rental. We charge a non-refundable pet fee, take out our 8% management fee, send the owner $400. Let's face it, something goes wrong. How much is $400 going to do
I
for
know.
pet? And knock on wood, it doesn't go off. Pet issues are not, they're overblown what people fear versus
Yeah,
reality.
yeah, yeah.
But the point is, we learn something. What we do instead is we retain those funds, but we give the owner a guarantee, which today is $1,500. We're going to keep that initial 400, 500, and put it in a pool. And if you have pet damage, we'll pay out of our pocket up to $1,500 above and beyond the security deposit.
That's great.
Well, if you're the property owner, isn't that better for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not even have to
Now,
worry about
do
it.
we make money on that? Sure we do. So we just try to
Yeah.
do things that are win-win all the way around.
Yeah, Tal, I love that approach, man. I think you drilled it at the very end, a win-win situation for everybody involved. I think that's just a beautiful way to run the business. And I appreciate you giving some examples because that was going to be my next question when you were saying these things of like these different tools that y'all implement. So those are fantastic examples. I love it. Well, so I guess kind of leading into that a little bit, and you might have mentioned this already. I'm curious, what do you feel as an owner right now is something that you have momentum in that you feel like we do this really, really well? This is going to continue to drive the business forward.
Well, it's service. It comes down to service, and there's no question. I mean, we don't have a 4.7 Google rating
Yeah.
because we're treating people poorly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like any business, we get inquiries from people that are with our competitors. Sometimes, the first question we always ask is, what are you looking to change? For all I know, we're doing it the same way. I don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
And, it's answers like, I can't get a hold of anybody. They don't respond back. They charge me for things that they didn't tell me they were going to charge me for. So much of it is just communication. But
Yep.
here's an example that I taught in this course. If you build a more profitable business, if you put in those tools that are win-win, true win-wins, don't, one of my pet peeves is don't charge this annual tax service fees that a lot of management companies do, because we got to issue you a 1099 and give you a 12-month cash flow. Well, guess what? The IRS says we have to issue the
Yeah.
1099. Why should we charge you 50, 75, $100 a year to do what we're supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I okay, it's just it doesn't work for me. But my
Yeah.
point is, when you are more successful and you're more profitable, you can, well, we have right now we have one staff member for every 25 properties that we manage. Most management companies are 50, 60, or more. Well, do
Yeah.
you think we can give better service because we have more staff?
So good. Okay, so Tad, this is one of the big talking points that I love bringing up. That's just so, and you just said it so perfectly. When you operate with margin slash profit in your business, it allows you to serve people better and have greater impact. And I love that so much because one of the things we talk about all the time is that like so many times when people look at like, hey, I got to prioritize profit and operate with margin, they think about just the money side of it. But
Right.
to me, it's like this money just gives you the opportunity to have greater impact and serve people better, right? So whether it's paying your
100%.
paying your team better because you have the margin to do so, paying, wowing your customers better or creating better services for them because you have the margin to do so. I just think it's a beautiful thing and you're living that out right now, which goes to show you see it in the results of the 4.7 Google reviews. I just think that's just a great way to live. Okay, so on the flip side of the momentum, Tal, what do you feel like right now in your shoes is like the hole in the boat or the thing that you're trying to solve right now to kind of get to the next level in business?
It really isn't there isn't a hole in the boat in our perspective. I mean, it's a different perspective at my age and our son who's 38, 39, who's taking over the business eventually. Obviously he's more ambitious and wants to grow and increase the number of properties we're managing, but he's smart enough that we're doing it on a slow, steady basis. We're
Smart.
not we're not going out there, not going to sacrifice what we do just to add more properties.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're successful at what we do. So now, I'm fat, dumb, and happy where we were at 120 doors. I don't need, that. I have a good living,
Yeah,
but it's different and nothing negative on that. And we just continue to grow that. And part of that growth, and it really isn't a whole, but part of that growth is what other tools and services can we
yeah,
implement?
yeah,
Um, we want to get, what does an owner want, for example? An owner wants you to find them a good tenant and get them in the door as quickly as possible to reduce vacancy. All right. So we're going to probably kick it off January 1st. We've been working on a program for better part of this year to do what's called a security deposit waiver. So you're a tenant, you're looking at moving. You got your first month's rent you got to pay. You've got moving costs. You've got set up utility
Yeah.
costs. You've got that security deposit. You're talking five, seven, $10,000 you've got to be able to come up with.
Yeah.
So how can we make it easier for them? So what we're going to do is, instead of them paying that big chunk of security deposit, 2,000, 3,000, whatever it is, we're going to let them pay us a small monthly fee under $100. We'll accumulate that and keep that,
Yeah.
but we're guaranteeing to our owners that we're going to cover damages up to 1 month's rent, just as it would have been before.
Yeah.
But we're going to collect that to get people in the door faster.
Smart.
Good for the owner, good
Yep.
for us because we'll retain that revenue.
Yeah.
Nothing negative on the owner in terms of they didn't get that revenue in the first place. We're just holding the tenant's money.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff we keep thinking about. How do we increase efficiencies? How do we increase operations? And we just got good people.
Yeah, that's good, Tal. I really, really love that. I think, yeah, and the next question I was going to ask you really is going back to even thinking about profit. And you might have already answered this, but I want to get your opinion on this. So, like, if you could put yourself in your shoes 15, 20 years ago, and as you were, continuing to build this business and figure out, is there anything you wish you would have known about profit or operating with margin back then that maybe you've learned along the way that you focus on or maybe measure now?
There's a lot of stuff we measure now, but one of the things I can go back it was at an outcome conference. Somebody I talked to talked about this revenue per door metric,
Yeah.
and this was 2015, 2014. I had no clue what my revenue per door was because it wasn't something I thought about or tracked.
Yeah.
Well, now the progression is night and day. And one of the things, when I taught this course about these services and revenue sources and various buckets that you can put together, when I taught the course, I showed them what our progression was 2015, 16, 17. It's night and day difference. And I said, here's the
Yeah.
advantage. You pick whatever nuggets from here, you know, work for you, but you can do this all at once instead of taking 10 years to learn it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. I love that, Tal. Okay, so this I love these questions because it's so much fun for me. So obviously, revenue per door is a massive thing that you're tracking to learn to say like, how do we?
We track so many different metrics, how long is response time on a work order? How
Yeah,
long is an average work order open? What's the number one reason tenants don't renew leases? Because the landlord didn't take care of the property,
that's
maintenance
right.
issues.
Yeah, yeah,
So, you know, we're constantly on top of following our maintenance coordinator, those metrics, we just, how do we improve it? How do we
yeah,
make the
for sure.
response times faster?
Well, if you could condense down just like health of the business, operating, serving people really well into like three key metrics, do you have the ability to do that for your business? Like, what are the things that you continue to go back to be like, I'm measuring this because if I measure it, I know we're on track.
Well, actually, our son's much better at that. He's the director of operations, just a different mind than I do. And gosh, I mean, I could disappear tomorrow. He'll run this business as well, if not better than I ever did. The different things that are important is, paying attention to the money. There's a lot of people, because they come from being real estate agents first,
Yeah,
that they really didn't have a business that they run. They
yeah,
don't manage the money. They don't look at their profit and loss. They don't, they do services. I remember years ago, agent called me up. I'll never forget it, about 4 years ago on Labor Day weekend, called up and said, I want you to take over the properties I manage. I want my life back. Well, why? Because she was doing everything for those owners and not charging for it.
yeah,
you know, Great, provide good service, but you want great service. I'm not going to pay your HOA bills and your tax bills for you and just spend my time doing that. And that's
exactly.
what she was doing. And then we'd go into these properties and realize she wasn't taking care of them. They weren't doing annual inspections on the property. They
Yeah,
weren't identifying. So anyway, manage the money, take care of the money. That's number one. Figure out where your business is coming from and nurture that.
yeah, it's good.
It's funny. You're an entrepreneur. I'm going to show you some book. Go on to Amazon.
I love it. Okay,
Go on to Amazon and order it. It only came out in like September. It's
let's
called
go.
Funny Money. And the gentleman who wrote the book, his name is Justin Anderson. He's a longtime investor, Harvard MBA, has his own property management company, sells software in our industry. Anyway, long story short, I've heard him speak a few times. And I read this book in one day. It was just, easy stories, anecdotal, but it's his path to learning about investing. And he's got good data from the federal government as opposed to my opinion
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
based on real things. But we went out and I was so impressed with the content in it of understanding where the markets are that we went out. Like I said, he just came out in September. We bought 200 copies and mailed them to our owners for the
That's
holidays.
awesome.
Now, in the past, I love my owners, but I also, don't want to waste money. Who needs another box of chocolates?
Yeah,
We thank them and communicate with them that we appreciate that they, honor us to take care of their property.
yeah,
But we've never done anything like this. And we're spending thousands of dollars to send out,
yeah,
all these books and, postage and so forth. I know that the content is there for them to better understand their investment.
yeah, it's good.
And potentially, if they decide they want to make another investment or share it with a friend, great, we can help them, but nurture your business. And this is an example of nurturing your business.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, and then it's efficiencies. Once again, if you have good revenue, you can pay for good software tools so you can do a better job.
Yeah,
We use some leading software in the industry. Like we just switched last year to a new inspection software instead of hiring a third party.
yeah,
And this software, it's a company out of Australia, but this software, when we go in at the move in and we take all the photos and we take a 360 video of every
yeah,
single room, when they move out, you put that camera in the same room, do a 360, and the AI software will compare just like you and I are on a split screen, and it'll
wow,
show you this is different from what it was at the move-in. So now we get that extra intelligence to help
yeah.
us not miss anything and charge the tenant appropriately.
Wow. Yeah, that is powerful. And to your point, I love what you said. When you have the revenue and you operate with margin, you have the ability to invest in softwares like that. It just makes everything a win-win. I love
Well,
that.
because I came from the IT world,
Yeah, yeah.
I understand that stuff. But the best example is we use the number one property management software in the country and the world. It's called AppFolio.
Yep.
But when we started with them, I don't even remember what the price was, but you basically needed a 200 door minimum to cover what their monthly fees were.
Yeah.
I think at the time we only had 50 doors. And I said to my wife, we're going with the big package now and we'll
Yeah.
grow into it because I'd rather spend more for it than go through the pain of, well, I'll buy what I can afford today. And later on, I'm going to have to migrate and go through hell to change software to go to
Yep.
another system.
Yep. That's such a great way to think. I love that, Tal. Just thinking long term, knowing that you're going to grow into the things that you need to grow into. So I love it. Well, Tal, as we wrap up here, is there anything that we haven't talked about today that's just kind of on your heart? It's that you want to talk about?
No, I think if there's one message, it's just make sure everything's a win-win. It's, benefit the people and things will come to you. Sorry to get out of frame for a second, but I'm just
You're
going to
good.
pull out my business card. I think this says it all. On the back of our business card, we print our mission statement. Been doing
Oh, cool.
this 15 plus years. Mission statement. We achieve success through honesty, integrity, ethics, and caring about our clients' needs and concerns. We measure success by having clients that refer us to the people they care about because they value our services.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good,
Not
Tal.
only is it good when you meet people and you give them a card to say, this is our values. I like the fact that when our staff has a card and hands it out, reminds them of our values.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah, the more you can see it, the more you can live it out. I love it. That's so good, Tal. Well,
Walk the talk.
yeah, that's so good. I love it. Well, if people want to hear more about or just honestly reach out to you, where's the best place to go find you?
Avalon Property Management.net.
Love
No,
it.
no spaces, no dots, dashes. Avalon Property Management.net.
We will put that in the show notes so everybody can find you very easily. Tal, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate the conversation. Thanks for teaching us. Honestly, that's the theme I'm walking away with today as well is make everything a win-win. And I think you'll see success behind there. So thank you so much for spending time today.
My pleasure.